Cats are very expressive because they have their pupils dilate. For example, if you look at the frowning cat, look at his pupils. They're like almost like slits, like snake eyes. So this happens when it's very bright. Your cat's pupils will dilate and human pupils dilate as well. So we'll start with this basic oval shape, and then if we look at the eyes on the cat, you'll see that the eyes are on the upper half of the face. So I'm gonna draw like a center line, and the nose is like exactly in the center. You'll notice that the mouth is also like almost like an A shape. One of the things I want to talk about is appeal. So appeal is actually a principle of animation. So there are 12 principles of animation. There are 10 principles of design, 7 elements of art. But appeal is one of the principles of animation, and when you look at emotions, especially emotions on characters, emotions are the most appealing thing in terms of how it gets us to react. So humans are conditioned, and biologically we react to other people's emotions. For example, if you see someone crying, you'll probably feel a little sad for them. You may not cry as well, but you'll definitely like feel sad or stop and kind of wonder why. If you see somebody laughing hysterically, you want to know what the joke is. Appeal, you can think of it as a way of showing expression and emotion in an exaggerated way. So for example, if you think about characters with appeal, like anime characters, why do they have so much appeal? Big eyes. If you look at anime characters, like, you know, not only do they have big eyes, but like when they cry, their tears just like start to roll off of their face in these giant drops. And anime girls may have tiny, tiny mouths, but when they're laughing or when they're crying, their mouths like take over their face. So those are what generally is what appeal is all about. Big eyes, super cute. Those are the characters that appeal to us the most. Knowing that, we're gonna try to use appeal in all of our pieces that we want an emotional response from. I've kind of sketched out the face, but now I want to make it a little bit more appealing. I kind of noticed that the distance between this part of the nose and this part of the eye is different than this, so I have to shift it just a tiny bit. And to add more appeal, I'm gonna make the nose a little bit smaller. I want to exaggerate just a little bit, like for it to still be realistic, but just to add that extra bit of appeal. I think it's really funny that this cat, like you can see a little bit of its tongue. One of the characteristics of surprise is the giant space between the eyes. So how do we exaggerate this for more appeal? Usually big pupils have more appeal than small pupils do. Like, see what happens if I make the pupil really small? Then, you know, my character kind of looks a little bit evil, but if I make the pupils bigger, it looks a little bit friendlier. And you'll notice that the ears are very far back. So this is more of like a fearful surprise look. So the ears are kind of bowed back like this. If you wanted to, you know, make your cat alert and surprised, then the ears would be up like this. Okay, so we're not going to draw too much of the body, but let's just kind of pencil it in and then we can kind of fade it out. Also, I'm going to make the body a little bit smaller. Another thing that adds appeal when you have big head, small body, that's baby proportions. So babies, everybody loves babies. Why do everybody love babies? Babies have really funny proportions. If you have an adult, let's say the adult is like 7 heads high, your chibi will basically be 4 heads high. So the proportions of a child is kind of like this. This is chibi proportions. So to make anything really cute, you give it a big head and a little body. So if you want this cat to be extra cute, you can give it a small body. So if you want to try a limited color piece, let me show you my approach for doing something like that. Let's say I want to paint in this little kitty here, and the kitty is mostly gray, so I can kind of loosely sketch out the gray, but I want to focus on the eyes and I want to make the eyes really shiny. I'm just going to color in like the eyes and the nose and maybe like the tongue. When you are leaving highlights on eyes, you want to make sure that those highlights are not flat, that they're curved. So you can see I'm curving the highlight. So again, you want to use your darkest color and put that in first. If you are doing like very yellow eyes and you want those eyes to be very shiny, I would leave out those shine marks and I'd color in the eyes so that the part that is closest to the pupil is really bright. And then the part that's closer to the outside of the eyes, that part is going to be more orange in color. So you can put color variation inside your iris and it'll actually look really cool. Now I'm going to take my orange and just kind of blend it into the yellow. So you can do this for all kinds of eyes, anime eyes, realistic eyes, cartoon eyes. They all kind of have the same type of stylization where it's most contrast around the pupil. So now you can see that those eyes are kind of glowing. If you wanted to add even more color, you could add in some greens. So I'm going to take like my light green and I'm just going to add like hints of green close to the eye, just a little touch of it to create even more variation. As long as your colors are similar in value, then it will work. So paint in a little nose.
If you'd like to support the channel and the creation of free arts education, become a member on Patreon.
So you can see with this second cat, I'm not going into too much detail. I'm just going to leave it quite simple. And I'm going to try that technique one more time with the white, kind of like the etching in of the whiskers. And just to see if it works, I'm going to use like a pink kind of around this cat. So if your animal is white and you really can't see what it looks like there's no edge, don't draw an outline around it, okay? You can try an approach where you actually draw in the background. So here I'm going to give it like a light coat of pink. The pink is making the white parts stand out. So this is a really cool way to draw things in white and let it have more contrast. So I'm just kind of fading the pink. Right, so now I can see a bit of those whiskers coming through. It's also a good idea to put some of that background color in your foreground. Okay, so my cat here is surrounded by pink. I have a little bit of pink on his nose, but what I can do is I can put a little bit of pink inside the face as well. This will harmonize the colors, because if you have a white cat in a pink room, your cat is going to have pink reflected light. Okay, so you want to make sure that whatever you use in your background color, you are tinting it in your actual subject. I'm just going to go a little bit darker around the edges, just for a slightly better contrast. So underneath the head of the cat, I'm going to make a little bit darker so that the cat head stands out more. So you always want the neck or the body to be a little bit darker, and that way it stands out a lot better. Adding like little tiny details like fur here and there. And then add a little bit of pink around the nose. And then there are a few dots around the whiskers that I might put in. We'll add some hearts. Maybe she's looking at something and seeing hearts. Maybe some butterflies too, you know, when you get butterflies in your stomach.
Join a virtual class to learn live from our professional artists. Get creative assignments, individual guidance, and real-time feedback on your artwork. Start today and level up your practice. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an upload. Here are some other videos you can check out next.